everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm Victoria and this is Vanya, and we're personal trainers at Freeform Fitness. This is our second video in our 5-part series about programming for beginners. So today we're going to be talking about progressive overload. So what is it, what are the benefits, and how do we implement it?
Progressive overload is a training principle where you're gradually increasing the demands on your body.
If you're continually doing the same exercises over and over again and not increasing either reps or weight or making the exercise more challenging, then your body is eventually just going to adapt and you're not going to be making any progress. So if you're trying to build strength, build muscle mass, or become more athletic or just move more functionally, it's important that you keep challenging yourself.
When you have a strength training program, there's 3 different variables. There's the number of sets that you do, the amount of repetitions, and then the weight that you do the exercise at. The principles of progressive overload is fairly simple, where every week that you're doing an exercise, you want to make sure that you're increasing one of those 3 variables in order to make it a little bit more difficult every time.
How exactly do you implement that? So I find a helpful tool is using RPE. So that is rate of perceived exertion. What that is a scale of 1 to 10 based on how you feel during the exercise. So a 1 being super easy, walk in the park, didn't really take any effort. Whereas a 10 would be total exhaustion, cannot complete any more reps, and maybe even that rep was insanely difficult. For beginners, you want to be training at about a 7 to 8. And the reason why is because you want to be able to safely complete the reps and sets of that exercise without injuring yourself. More advanced lifters can start training up to that 9, 10 area. But as a beginner, like I said, you want to stay in that safe range of 7 to 8. So you're still pushing yourself, but you're not reaching total failure. Each week you want to be within the 7 to 8 on the RPE scale. So during your first week of training, you may find that 50 pounds for a squat is within that 7 to 8 range. But the following week, you find that you're feeling more like a 6, 5 or 6. That's how you know that you can increase the weight so that you can, again, stay within that 7 to 8 range.
Now, a lot of times, particularly when you get to sort of the top end of your ability levels, some of the weight jumps are fairly big and you won't be able to necessarily complete the same amount of repetitions as you did the previous week at the lighter weight. What we would recommend is finding rep ranges for you to work within a set phase of training. So for example, instead of thinking about doing just 10 reps for any particular exercise, you think about aiming to do 10 to 12 reps. If you're able to do a particular exercise at 12 reps, and it feels like you're doing it within the 5 to 6 RPE range, you'll be able to increase the weight. And then it's okay if you can't do 12 reps, but if you're able to make it to 10 and it still feels like a 7 or 8 on the RPE scale, then you know that you're still progressing and being on the right track.
So what happens if you are doing a program for a while and you notice that you literally cannot lift any heavier and you're within that 7 to 8 range for maybe a few weeks? What do you do then? That would be a good time to look at your program and make some changes. There's a few different ways that you can change an exercise to make it a little bit more challenging. So increasing tempo, making it a little bit more challenging with stability, or even changing grip, as well as maybe even changing your rep ranges. So instead of following a 8 to 12 rep range, maybe you're gonna do more of a 15 to 20 rep range.
Other things that you could consider is maybe it's time to take a week off and focus on rest and recovery, because that is a really important part on building strength and increasing muscle mass as well.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you don't work out that week. It could just mean that you drop down your load. So this is called a deload week, where you would bring your weights down about 50 to 60% of what you were doing before, and just taking it a little easier that week. And then you'll check back in the next week and see if you can bump your weight back up. If not, again, maybe take a look at your program and switch things up.
All right, so that's how you use progressive overload to make sure that you're progressing and improving with your strength training program. In our next video, we'll be talking about how you can set up your overall program using the FIT principle. Thanks again for watching. Please like if you liked this video, subscribe to be notified when our next video comes out, and leave us a comment if you have any questions about things that you would like Victoria and I to answer.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.